So have you ever built a dashboard and you have filters on one side of the page and it feels like it's taking up the entire dashboard? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that problem. Let's go. So before we get started, I just want to say a super special thank you to all those who have signed up to the new Jellyman Education website, which you have right before you. And if you've, never watched any of my content and you just want to check it out, if you go here to the top, there's actually a free course. It's not like a 5-minute course. It actually goes for like 2.5 hours. So it's pretty jam-packed for a free course. And this will get you started with Tableau. So all you have to do is sign up for free. And this particular course will always be free. So if I come down here, it is 2.5 hours. It's 23 lessons. So you get to learn all the absolute basics, and that's great. But if you want to sign up for the bundle and you get access to everything, I mean, that's the way to go if you really want to get up there with Tableau. And just in terms of stats, a lot of loads, a lot of plays, a lot of hours watched. So it's really ramping up. It's so great to see people learning Tableau and BI. And I've only really seen it do good things for people, for their careers, for their businesses. So it's a wonderful thing. Let's get into our video. So I have a dashboard right here. Let me just bring this here. And it's a pretty typical dashboard, especially when you begin. So you have a title up here. You have, visualization, visualization, visualization. And then typically you have this, right? You have some gigantic set of filters on the right. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Now, in the realm of data visualization, your page is like prime real estate. And the more real estate you give up for things that aren't particularly value add, you're losing out. You're losing out on actually being able to tell a story or tell something important. So there's a few things we can do. We can either minimize, let me move my face here. Let's go this side. So I can, for example, change this to a single value drop down, and that can maybe minimize it a little bit, right? So I can do that and maybe even make this somewhat floating. So I can make it floating like this, but I still have that problem of space right underneath it, as you can see. So what's my alternative options? Well, what you can actually do is if I switch this back, right? Because sometimes it is nice having everything available, but we don't like it when it takes up that much room. So what you can do is if it's in a container, okay, and if you don't know how to bring a container in, it's just this one right here. Oops. Where's my drawing tool? Drawing tool. You can use this one. All right, so you bring that in, you drop your filters inside, and then you can click on the container itself. And if you have trouble with that, just pick any item inside and double click this handle. So if you double click that, it'll actually select the container that it's in. You press the triangle button and you go add show/hide button. And that creates this little icon here, which you can put anywhere. Okay, so for now, I'm going to put it up here just so you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this container and I'm going to click on the triangle and go floating. Okay, so now I have a floating one. And, I personally like filters like on the left side. So why don't I do that? Why don't I just kind of clean this up a second? And I'm just going to make it floating just to make it easier for myself. Here we go, floating. And we have this last one in the back. I'm going to move this down here. Okay, there we go. And then this little icon here, we're going to move it just to the left. So I can pretty much just use this now, right? So if I right click and go hide, right? Actually, let's bring out our filter, which I think I've hidden behind here somewhere. All right, I'm just going to bring it somewhere I can see it. Let's go floating, bring to front. Okay. Now, if you have this problem where you can actually see right through it, just go layout and add a white background to it. Okay. So that's step one. It's in front. Put this back. Okay. Now, what I want to do is when someone clicks this button, I want it to expand this filter, and I want it to expand about here. So I'm going to make this nice and large like so. Okay, there we have it. And then to hide it, I'm just going to right click and go hide. So the way it actually will behave is when the dashboard gets loaded, it'll look like, I'm trying to deselect, it'll just look like that. And then you have a filter button here that they can click on. In this case, when we're in design mode, we have to right click and press it. But when it's published, it's just a click button. So we're going to go show. And when you do that, the filter actually pops out. Yeah, it pops out and it can just overlay on top of your visualizations, and you can control it from here. And when you're done with it, you just press it again and it hides it. So it's very minimalistic. We unlock all that extra space here. We can add more filters and buttons. You can do a download button. You can do all sorts of things. And there's actually a pretty good visualization that I saw on Tableau Public, which kind of gave me this idea. And hopefully if I find it again, I'll put it in the description. But you can also apply this to the visualizations themselves. So let's say I had a visualization that was going to add to this story, but it's not really the primary information. I can actually go in a visualization, click on the triangle. Maybe I'll pick one up here so you can see the menu. And you'll see add show hide button. And it'll create another button. So if I now press that one, it actually hides or shows an entire visualization. And in fact, I actually hid one here on the top right. So if I click this, there's actually a visualization, which that didn't go too well. I forgot to do floating, bring to front, right? So you can actually hide entire visualizations throughout your dashboard and only bring it out when someone clicks or activates this button. I mean, that is pretty cool.